going to show you how to make a perfect steak. It doesn't take much skill, doesn't take much equipment, but it's unconventional. It uses the sous vide method, which is cooking inside of a plastic bag in a controlled temperature hot water bath. And then it's reverse-seared, meaning it's cooked first and seared last. So kind of backwards in every way, but it makes a perfect steak and it's hard to screw it up. So I'll walk you through it and show you how I did it. So check it out. What we're going to cook today is a ribeye. It's USDA choice grade, very good quality steak. You shouldn't need to season it much because its flavor should stand by itself. So you've got plenty of marbling there, good amount of fat. That's going to be a tasty steak. So all we need to add to it is some salt, some pepper, and some garlic. Now the garlic I'm going to use is just a granulated garlic. It's not garlic salt. We don't want to add garlic salt. It's bad. So just put a little on each side, about like that. Should be plenty. Pat it in a little bit, and then I use kosher salt because I can see it go on, and about that much, and do that on each side. And then ground pepper. Get the grinder. About a medium grind. Pat it in. Actually, that's a pretty coarse grind. But you can see there about how much seasonings we put on. Get it to focus here. On both sides. So that'll make it taste pretty good. Alright. We're going to use a method called sous vide, as I mentioned before. In this method, we cook the food in a water bath while it's inside of a plastic bag. And what that does is you basically take it up to the finished temperature you want it to be at. In the case of this steak, we want to take it to medium rare. And you just set the water temperature to whatever you want the meat at. And you put it in there, you heat it until it's thoroughly heated through, which takes about an hour. For a steak that's an inch thick like this one. And when it's done, you take it out and you sear it over a flame. And so we'll do that later. You end up with a steak that's perfectly cooked all the way through, and you can't really screw it up. It's real easy. So what we got to do is control the temperature of this rice cooker. So earlier this year I built this temperature controller, and it basically reads the temperature of your cooking bath and cycles power off and on that goes to it. So you've got power from the wall coming in here, and you plug your rice cooker into this spot, and it cycles the power off and on to keep it at the desired temperature. So there's our controller, and then we have a temperature sensor. One end plugs into the front of the controller, and this is the probe end that goes into the water and measures its temperature. So I've got this full of hot tap water, so it's already fairly preheated. Plug this guy in here, drop the probe in the water, grab the power cord for the controller, plug that in. The controller says it's at 114, 115 right now. And then we just plug the rice cooker into that and make sure we push the go button on the rice cooker. Okay, our temperature is up to 135, and I've got the steak put in a plastic bag. So this is just a regular old sandwich bag. I put a straw in it and pulled out all the air, and the only reason you do this is so the water can make good contact with the meat and get the heat into it. So it doesn't need to really be vacuum sealed. So what we'll do is put this in there, and in other runs that I've done on here, I've actually put a thermometer probe into the meat so I can measure what it is and see how long it takes to actually get to the 135 internal temperature. But I know an hour will do it based on that experience. So yeah, so here we go. Just toss it in water. And you can see that the air is kind of driven to the top of the bag, so you don't want much air against the meat, because if the air is touching the meat, then it won't, that's where heat doesn't get through very well. So I've got a little extra air in here. I can pop the bag open and chase it out through the top and seal it up again. So now there's less air in there. And it'll sink. Meat is heavier than water, so it'll sink to the bottom. It won't float to the top. So you can see the temperature dropped to 132 because the water was shocked by the cold steak being put in it. It'll come back and stabilize at 135, and we'll just leave that in there for an hour. So here we are. I let it cook for 3 hours. Got a little sidetracked, and the beauty of this method is that it doesn't matter. So here's the steak. It looks kind of gray, kind of ugly. It's medium rare inside. See, the temperature still says 136 there. So let's take it out and toss it on the plate. Let me unplug this. So see, it looks cooked, but see, it's still very soft. It's medium rare inside, 135 degrees. So I've got a charcoal chimney warming up outside, so we can grill this over the chimney. But yeah, the beauty of this is that it doesn't matter how long it sits in there, 3 hours, 1 hour, as long as it gets up to temperature, it's good. So if you're entertaining, you've got people over, you can throw the steaks in the water and do whatever. When people want to eat, as long as it's been long enough, you pull the steak out, go sear it on the grill, and you've got a perfect steak. No stress. So we're going to go cook it now in just a minute. So as soon as the coals are ready, we'll sear this. About what you want the coals to look like. Mostly grayed over, nice and hot. Here's our steak. And here we go. See how fast this cooks. Got to keep the fat from catching on fire by moving it around a little bit. Some serious fire on it now. It's been on about 30 seconds. Look at that. Beautiful. Same thing to the other side. Getting there. Fire, huh? And that is a beautiful steak. Look at that. And that's it. Let's go inside and cut it up. Alright. I wish this was smell-o-vision so you could see how this smells. Tender. Look at that. Perfectly cooked all the way through. Just a little bit of done zone on each side. Juicy as can be. Let's see how this tastes. Oh my god. That's good. So this side's a little more done. This side is the side that kind of is a little more tender. Look at that. Beautiful. And it's so easy. The cool thing about this method is that it's hard for me to screw it up. Every time I cook a steak on a grill, it comes out overdone. And because I'm relying on my skill, or lack of skill, to decide whether it's done. So doing a method like this, it takes a lot of the skill out of the equation. So all you got to do is make sure it's up to the right temperature, and then put it on there until it looks kind of like that, depending on taste. You know, depending on what you want to do, and it's gonna come out good. Buy a nice quality piece of meat, you can't lose. So there you go, how to cook the perfect steak with almost no skill. So I think it's harder to cook a pancake than to cook this. So anyway, good luck. If you have any questions, let me know. See you later.